Welcome on it. No, we
Oh,
haven't.
well,
Skull clap for one
for,
clap for Daniel Jones.
for
All right,
Thanksgiving.
we'll do it. I hate Thanksgiving. It's my least favorite holiday.
Yeah,
What do
literally.
I have to be thankful for other than my beautiful family and our our son and our unborn child? I have a lot to be thankful for. And Brev, yes, I do miss Brev on
And
Twitter,
Daniel
even
Jones,
though I see you.
apparently.
And Daniel Jones, let's go ahead and start right there, and then we'll get into our Week 12, or pardon me, Week 13 pregame preview, which will be the main theme of the episode. But I love the Daniel Jones signing.
Me too.
There's no risk. I think the comp pick, lot of confusion on that. I think it'll largely be based on playing time, which best case scenario isn't something we have to worry about. Watch me say that, and then we look back and God forbid something happens to Darnold and Daniel Jones comes in and leads us to multiple playoff wins, and we're like, wow, look at that. I think we said the other day, my opinion's been he's a better potential backup for McCarthy than Mullins is, not because I think Mullins is inherently not a good backup option. I think he's a pretty solid backup, but because play style and skill set, and I think right now he's only due like $100,000 by the Vikings if he stays on the practice squad, which I don't particularly imagine being the case. I don't think Brett Ripien's going to be around much longer.
Oh, is Ripien technically on the practice squad? Because he's always the emergency quarterback.
Yeah, there,
Yeah.
but there isn't really an emergency quarterback thing anymore. I thought they got rid of that, but he suits up on game day. It's very confusing. He's in full pads.
Yeah, because I thought he was the emergency quarterback.
I don't think they have I don't think there is the emergency quarterback rule this year. I think that was a one and done.
I don't think that's true.
I'm like 80% sure it's true. Hold on.
I hope I'm right, but I also hope you're right because I like seeing my friends win. But I
It was
hope
posted
I'm
in 2023. NFLPA's in August 26, 2024. NFLPA vetoes quarterback rule change. Emergency QB still must be. Okay, you were right. You were right. They did. I got confused because they proposed it. And
Yeah, I remember
then
that.
the NFLPA vetoed it. My bad. I was wrong. I was wrong. They did try to get rid of it. I wasn't wrong about that, but I was wrong that they actually succeeded. I don't know ball. Wow, embarrassing moment.
I hate when we fight.
I know. But man, after so good.
Yeah.
What are you? I
Oh,
mean, I know you posted a video about Daniel Jones. Like, for the people who didn't see that, like, what are your overall thoughts? I'm sure they're not too different than mine.
it's the feeling is like the exact same as when we signed Sam Darnold, and of course the context is different, but just the feeling of there like this really can't be a bad thing. Like Sam Darnold for $10 million couldn't really be a bad thing. Daniel Jones for basically nothing, I feel like is a good thing. I feel like Daniel Jones could be fun.
I don't disagree. I think that he is definitely a potential interesting wrinkle if he gets up to speed on the playbook. Do I think we're going to see like a 2 QB formation? No, but it's also Kevin O'Connell, so could I see that happening on one random play when it matters most? Yeah, maybe. I could see a weird double quarterback formation at some point.
Well, the thing I equate it to the most, and that I think is most realistic to see if Daniel Jones gets any playing time, is like what the Steelers do with Justin Fields, where they'll like put him in situationally when it's like kind of obvious that you're gonna run the ball, like a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, probably more a 4th and 1. But and the good thing about Daniel Jones is like he can throw the ball, so like you can threaten that in a short yardage situation, and then he can throw the ball, and you're like, whoa, big gain on 4th down. And then if that fails, they'll be back to Kevin, please stop overthinking it.
So your thought process is on any quarterback sneak to prevent Darnold from getting hurt, throw Jones in there.
Not any quarterback sneak, but just like once every here and there, like 4th and 1 at their 32, depending on the situation.
I will say one thing about you being gone from Twitter that really sucks is you've missed an incredible tweet that popped up. Apparently, people were just searching Darnold Jones, but this is a tweet from Super Bowl weekend 2020 before everything went to hell in a handbasket from the American Cornhole League. And wouldn't you know it, it's a matchup between Danny Dimes and Sammy Darts in cornhole, and they're on opposing teams, but they're playing right next to each other as you do in cornhole. And no, neither of us are from Minnesota. We're not calling it bags or bigs or whatever you call it.
Not eggs.
Um, but yeah, it's I have it just looping right now on Twitter because it's just tantalizingly amazing foreshadowing that these two are playing cornhole together
How
in
does
a
the how does the
relatively
chemistry look?
professional. Well, they're not on the same team. They're against
Well,
each other, but they're
well, I know, but like they can still like
Danny Dimes is significantly better at cornhole. Some people are tweeting, "quote QB1 sucks at bags. I'm out." People are pretty offended by the performance here of Sam Darnold. But hey, maybe he got a lot better this year working with Kevin O'Connell. I think that's one thing that is the most impressive thing is Kevin O'Connell is is the quarterback coach in the NFL now. I tweeted earlier, you had JJ McCarthy saying at the combine, and it was very clear he was correct that every quarterback there wanted to play for the Vikings because of Kevin O'Connell. You had Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson both talk about post game interactions with Kevin O'Connell and how he interacted with them during their respected draft processes and won them over during that time. Obviously, Sam Darnold's doing great. And then you have Daniel Jones turn down opportunities to possibly start elsewhere. I think Oakland, or not Oakland, I'm always going to say Oakland. Vegas would have been probably his most realistic opportunity. San Fran with Purdy being hurt, who knows what could have happened there. And yet he chooses to sign a practice squad deal to learn, at least in the interim from the practice squad, from Kevin O'Connell. Is Kevin O'Connell the quarterback whisperer?
I think it's more fair to say it now. People were saying that like last year because Josh Dobbs was good for 2 weeks. That's when I was like, nah, I don't know if he's a quarterback whisperer yet. But now I think it's fair to say that he probably is.
Yeah, and that is why I have faith in JJ McCarthy succeeding. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, do I think JJ McCarthy has the winning pedigree and the skill sets needed to succeed in the NFL? 1,000,000%. I think he has all the natural talent and the mentality you need. Obviously, people are like, "Well, he was a glorified handoff merchant." Whatever. We've debunked that so many times, and people much smarter than us have done that already too. Um, but I think Kevin O'Connell being the guy to lead him throughout his career, at least for the foreseeable future, with those two together, is going to be massive.
Yes. And that's where I go back to the argument of um, Jim Harbaugh and should have hired Harbaugh. And it's just dumb. It just, I don't know. I don't know why it makes me think of it, but like we have it really well, really good right now with Kevin O'Connell and where the Vikings are going. And I don't need to preach the same choir about this is a rebuild year. Just imagine what the Vikings are going to do next year and the year after that when they have even more money and more assets and whatnot. But how can you not love where the Vikings are at right now? And how can you not love Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear when the money makes sense and the opportunities there, people want to play for this
Yeah.
franchise
And
right
I
now.
and I love Jim Harbaugh. Don't get me wrong. Like I was okay with hiring Jim Harbaugh, but like without the hindsight, I guess it's like you go to Cinnabon. You know when you get a Cinnabon and you get like that good, like that really creamy, like gooey middle Cinnabon. That's like Kevin O'Connell and where we're at right now with the future of the Vikings. Jim Harbaugh, like he would have been good in the short term. I don't know about the long term vision because Jim Harbaugh is like a win, 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 win now coach, and I know that's what the Vikings like to do. But he's kind of like the Pillsbury, like oh this is good right now. Kind of wish it was a Cinnabon though. Those are the futures of the Vikings. All due respect to Jim Harbaugh.
And Pillsbury?
You know Pillsbury, like the
Yeah, I
roll.
know, but I'm just making sure you're showing respect because
Those are good.
in a pinch, come in clutch.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. They're both good, but I want the Cinnabon.
I think to your point, like the Harbaugh thing would have been really interesting to see what happened in hindsight. I think all of us, when that news first came out, were 100%. I think people remember hashtag Harby Army,
Mm-hmm.
all the memes and things like that. But I just don't think we could have estimated what Kevin O'Connell would have done. Kevin O'Connell right now has the most wins through the first 45 games as Vikings head coach of any coach in franchise history. I don't know if Harbaugh gets that.
Yeah, hard to say.
I mean, it's just hypothetical, but like at the end of the day, like people could be like, "Oh, you're saying Harbaugh isn't a better coach?" Well, he's also a much more experienced coach than Kevin O'Connell, so that is significantly important to be accounted for here. But also, what we do know is that the bottom line is Kevin O'Connell's won more in his first 45 games as Vikings coach than Bud Grant, Dennis Green, Mike Zimmer, any of them. It's just is what it is, and so. With that, boy golly, am I thankful we have Kevin O'Connell. Heading in to Sunday, a little post Thanksgiving action for us here. Hopefully, the Lions keep up their trend of losing at home on Thanksgiving. Fingers crossed. I think Caleb Williams could give that their specific style of defense some trouble,
Oh
personally.
yeah, yeah. I
Just
hope.
a guess. I mean, it's there. I think the potential's there. I think he's
Yeah.
kind of potentially could be the Achilles heel for what they do on defense, especially with how many injuries they have.
If the Lions lose tomorrow, I don't know when we're uploading this, but it's Wednesday. If they
Let's
lose,
let's upload it tonight or tomorrow morning. Give
okay.
the people a Thanksgiving treat.
All right. If they lose tomorrow morning or afternoon, um, I'll be very happy talking about the Lions because that then puts the Vikings. I still think the Lions would win the division, but just like seeing the Lions lose on Thanksgiving in a vacuum again would be awesome.
Agreed. So hopefully
Not a
that
hater.
happens. Vikings host the Arizona Cardinals. We were talking about a month ago when we were kind of reevaluating the season and where do you think we'll finish, and talked about the Cardinals as a much better team than we expected. Are we still standing by that, or do we see them as maybe a peak and valley type team? How are we feeling about them now, especially after feeling pretty confident they were going to be a top team in the earlier portion of the season?
I mean, I still feel my opinion on them hasn't really changed. Like I didn't think they were gonna win win out, especially, but I didn't think they were gonna win like convincingly over the rest of the season and be like 13-4. I still think they're gonna be in the 10-11 win category of teams. So like compared to then and how I feel about this game now, it's not that different in that I think the Cardinals are very feisty and they could absolutely give Minnesota a run. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if Arizona won this game. That's just it's not like me being Vikings, the Vikings are Vikings, but it's like it's how highly I think of the Cardinals. And we talked about boy math last episode, and the Cardinals were just didn't show up last Sunday against the Seahawks. I would feel better if they just blew out the Seahawks last week. Now that they took an L, very uncharacteristic for the team that they've been this year. Now I'm like, I think they might come out kind of hot.
Possibly. It is Black Friday week, and for COD that means as of today we're getting an early double XP weekend and new modes including prop hunt. So Kyler might be a little busy if
Fair.
the stereotype stands. Yeah, I mean, looking at the Seahawks and just kind of giving context to last week's game, as far as passing defense, um, they were 15th. For the Vikings, they're ranked 28th because of yards a game, but the Seahawks have given up 15 passing touchdowns, the Vikings 17. So relatively comparable. We also know that there's going to be a lot of passing yards against the Vikings simply because of the nature of the defense. Total defense, the Vikings are number 10 currently, while the Seahawks have fallen all the way down to 20. And again, the reason I'm talking about the Seahawks here is because the Cardinals scored 2 field goals against them. The Cardinals are actually ranked 18th, so middle of the pack for them there. 20th for passing defense. Rushing defense, I believe they're also in that same-ish range. Where are they? I am blind. Why can't I see the word Cardinals on here? 17th, yeah. Scoring defense, they're number 11. So overall, pretty middle of the pack season from their defense. And in a lot of categories, they're better than the Seahawks defense we've been hearing so much about. And the Seahawks defense didn't let them do anything last week. So do I think that's obviously a sign that the Vikings are going to dominate? No, but I think that we should be able to have our way with them defensively and then just not make mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is mediocre, meaning they could take advantage of things if we leave room for it. But I'm not like too worried about them. But I also know anything can happen and that they have shown this season they're capable of popping off at any time. They also have the 31st ranked third down defense.
Not good for those wondering.
The
Yeah,
Vikings are number 8.
in terms of third down defense.
Yeah, percentage of third downs converted against them.
Yeah, I guess I said what wouldn't surprise me in the Cardinals winning, but what should happen is the Vikings should win this game by at least a touchdown. And it's easy to say it every week, but it really is what it is because you kind of know what you're going to get out of the defense. It all depends on Sam Darnold keeps playing the way he has the last 2 games, which I'm very grateful the way he's played the last 2 games. Last game. Who did we play before the Bears?
We played the Titans.
Why did I feel like time is a crazy concept? But
Yep.
yeah, he was decent against the Titans. If he keeps playing that way, I guess we're calling him September Sam Timber, whatever. But that's just when he was playing really well, and he's been more like that because he was just not that good in October at all. If he can keep playing like that, like I really for the entire team, I think the sky is the limit. So if we keep getting good Sam Darnold, I think we should win out. Honestly, maybe not against Detroit, but definitely against Arizona. We get good Sam, 2 touchdowns, good ball placement, good decisions, not forcing it. We should win this game by at least a touchdown.
I'm very curious to see how they approach Jefferson. Like we talked about this the other day. Not much has changed. We don't have injury reports or anything like that yet. KOC just had his first presser, which we'll talk about just in a second here. But it's going to be really pick your poison unless they come up with some incredibly play it safe, prevent defense on every play. We now know that Sam Darnold can and will take advantage of Jefferson being double, triple teamed. So I'm very curious what they lean into and if they just let Addison and Hawk run all over. Kevin O'Connell did say in his press conference, this just breaking, a ton of accounts tweeting about it. I'll just read Ben Gosling's. Kevin O'Connell said the Vikings are anticipating Daniel Jones to arrive Friday morning. They're still working through a couple details, so like roster moves that have to correspond, but he said he's very much looking forward to a good addition to the quarterback room. So it's done, but they can't officially make it done until they handle any other moves they need to make.
I wonder what that's going to be. Any official prediction?
Probably Ripien, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that yet with. Well, I know. You know what, Kevin O'Connell, if they just make Daniel Jones the emergency guy, he already
Yeah.
proved he could take a guy, God forbid if this happens, in his first week and throw him out there and just walk him through everything.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, no, not at all. To be fair, I think he was QB2 that week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Daniel Jones is just so much comfortably better than Brett Ripien. I really don't think you have to think about it. Just let Ripien go.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I mean, I thought the Nick Muse move was going to tee this up, but then we did bring in a linebacker yesterday, so man, Ivan Pace being hurt.
What was the official word on Ivan Pace's injury? I know he's on IR.
I believe it's a hamstring. I don't think it's a tear. Yeah, it's a hamstring, but I believe they're hoping it's short-term IR, so should be ready right towards. I think that puts us right up for the Green Bay game,
Hopefully.
if I'm mathing correctly.
Honestly, any
Cardinals,
linebacker,
Falcons, Bears. Who do we play after the Bears? Seahawks.
Seahawks.
And then,
Yeah.
so that would be the fourth week. I'm trying to math my math. So either right before the Seahawks game or leading up to Green Bay and Detroit.
I'm kind of comfortable with anybody at linebacker next to Blake Cashman. Just how highly I think of Cashman.
Yeah, as long as Cashman's healthy. I love Ivan Pace, but like it's not worth risking getting him hurt.
Yes.
So, let's talk about anything to watch, particularly with this Cardinals matchup. It's hard to say because that offense is so wildly inconsistent in their game planning and approach. Sometimes they'll just chuck it. As a Marvin Harrison fantasy owner, I can back this up. But sometimes they'll just give him the ball, and sometimes they don't even look his way hardly. What do you expect to see Sunday? What version of Kyler Murray in the Cardinals offense do you think shows up?
I expect a good version. I think Kyler kind of always plays well. Plays well against Minnesota. And I fully expect Marvin Harrison for this to be a game he gets looked at and gets 100+ yards maybe. Just because Keenan Allen, you didn't really see anything out of Keenan Allen since he got signed by Chicago. But last week he gets 9 receptions or something. Don't think he got over 100 yards. I might be wrong on the receptions, but that sounds right. Yeah, and that's going to happen. It's not just because it's the Vikings. It's the brand of defense they play. The opposing team is going to get passing yards. One of their receivers is probably going to go off. If their quarterback isn't Mac Jones and they have a competent quarterback. But yeah, I fully expect this to be kind of just the games from the Vikings in which they win that we've been seeing pretty much all year long. At some point, the opposing quarterback will hit a rhythm, will start dicing up the Vikings, but it might be too late by that point, hopefully, because the Cardinals' defense isn't all that good. So it's kind of setting up to be a typical 2024 Vikings game to where they dominate most of it and the other team can kind of wiggle their way back into it, at least make it somewhat interesting. But I think it's going to be pretty black and white.
What's your score prediction?
33-27.
Spicy. I'm gonna go. I think Brian Flores is gonna look at what the Seahawks did well last week, and he's gonna implement his own twists and disguises into that. And I think that Kyler Murray, being somebody who lives in Arizona, I really wish this game was here so I could go. But I'm glad to have another home game after a month of not. I think Kyler Murray is somebody who I hear Cardinals fans talk about this all the time, gets into incredible flow or incredible funks. I think this has the potential to be a funk where he just gets so frustrated by the lack of success last week that he tries to overcompensate and is throwing interceptions or playing fast and loose with the football. I'm going to lean into that because I'm obviously biased and that's what I want to have happen. I think he throws 2 interceptions. 2 turnovers total. An interception, a fumble, 2 interceptions, whatever it is. I think the team generates 4 to 5 sacks, and I think the Vikings win 27-13. I think they get a touchdown and a couple field goals, and that's pretty much their day. That's what my guess is. But again, logically, everything you and I both know is that it'll come down to a last-second Cam Bynum interception or something like that to prevent them from walking out of U.S. Bank with a win.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But I have to mentally prepare myself for that being the week in, week out outcome.
I'll be at work, so hopefully it'll be a nice, breezy win that I don't have to try to sneak away to pay attention to.
Yeah, that would really stink for sure. But you know what doesn't have to stink is Brev. Because Brev, even though he looks like a lumberjack, he can smell like a sexy lumberjack using Dr. Squatch. Brev, tell the people.
I also look like a sexy lumberjack. And
You look
someone
like
else,
a lumberjack. Yeah.
yeah. Somebody else that doesn't want to stink, especially at the Thanksgiving dinner table, lunch table, whenever you have Thanksgiving. I'm an evening guy, but you don't want to stink on Thanksgiving, or do you? You're probably weird if you do, and that's probably why your family hates you and didn't invite you, but you had to ask your family member if you could come. But you don't have to worry about that with Dr. Squatch and their line of all natural products. I've named a couple since the last show: Fresh Falls, Pine Tar, Wood Barrel Bourbon. They got their Christmas line out. They got their fall line out. You can smell good. It's not too late. You can go get it in stores, or you can use the link in the description if you can wait till after Thanksgiving, kind of stock up for Christmas, smell like peppermint or something. You can use the link in the description, get $10 off your first, or not even your first, just a purchase of $20. I was thinking about the SeatGeek ad read that Jason is about to do, but that's only after I tell you that you can feel like a man and smell like Skolcial.
With that, you might as well smell good, look good, feel good, and see the Vikings hopefully win good, because that's a sentence. At a Vikings game, heck, catch a Wolves game, wherever you are, go catch a sporting event or a concert, use SeatGeek and use code Brev or code JasonH to save $20 off your first purchase. And yeah, go do stuff. It's the time of year where it's really fun for sports. This isn't that weird part of like September where like baseball and I think hockey, or is it? No, it's October. Duh, why did I say September? Baseball playoffs are going on. We may have missed that, but there's still some really good action to catch. NHL, NBA, a couple more college football games. I think some bowl games coming up starting in what? The week of Christmas? Week before Christmas?
Right before.
Did we move that up because of the playoff? I'm assuming.
I don't know the exact schedule, but it's that time frame.
It's that time frame. Still got some college football games left this year. NHL, college basketball, use SeatGeek. Speaking of good and smelling good and winning good, a great meme I just saw was a Zoolander meme of Kevin O'Connell at the little ant center for ants with Zoolander in the background. It says Kevin O'Connell's Center for Kids Who Can't Throw Good and Who Want to Learn to Do Other Stuff Good Too.
Pretty accurate. Or just
well
like
played.
The Vikings organization with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell with like former high draft picks, reclamation projects that want to do good.
From New York.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can't wait for the Malik Neighbors to the Vikings storyline here in about 2-3 years.
Or the one a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah. I had eliminated that from my head out of PTSD
Florio.
from how stupid that was. Oh, Florio.
Oh, well.
But with that, we will see you guys after the game. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, whether that's tomorrow or whether that's technically today. We'll figure out when to upload this. Brev, you look like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from like 2000 when you do your hair like that.
Tight beat. I also want to still make it clear that I think Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson are good.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to say, and that's probably where you should stop talking.
Yeah. Then hit
All right. We'll see you guys in a few days.